While the reds, yellows, and oranges are popping up on trees as a sign of fall, the leaves aren't the only thing starting to change color. Pumpkins are turning orange ahead of schedule this year. News 8's Pauleen Le has more on the outlook of this year's crop.
Well, this year's warm winter, early spring, and a long-standing drought is playing a factor into how pumpkin crops are growing this year. But for one farmer, the key to growing pumpkins that not even Charlie Brown can resist is timing.
What would fall be Halloween and even later in the fall harvest period without the orange color of a pumpkin?
Tom Ferguson's Morningside Orchard in Galesville is seeing orange, and lots of it.
Surprisingly, pumpkins have done really good. Like to see them get ready about third week in September, but here we are. Most of them are getting ready right now.
That's thanks in part to an unusual growing season this year, but there's also a different technique to growing pumpkins.
You know, where there's the apple crop, for example, that was out there early, you know, and there wasn't a whole lot you could do once it had come out. At least with the pumpkins, it's an annual where you control when you put it out there, so you got a little ability to work with it, I think.
And for Ferguson, it was all about timing.
We waited until the first week in June before we planted them. The biggest scare with pumpkins was drought. And we just got lucky enough to where we got just enough water and just the right times to where they turned out good.
Now, normally in early September, only about 20% of Ferguson's pumpkin crops will have already started changing color. But this year, while you can't see it under the foliage, more than half of his pumpkin crop has already turned orange. So will it last to Halloween? Well, that depends on how well you take care of them.
They should be just fine. Store it in a shady spot, room temperature, shady spot, for about 10 days. That'll harden the pumpkin, and then you can put it in your garage and it'll be good for 2-3 months.
Now the hard part is just getting the word out that pumpkin season is here early.
I think Charlie Brown is, you know, the great pumpkin is alive and well, and so we're hoping that the Charlie Brown fans come out and come and get some pumpkins.
Now, Ferguson owns about 20 acres of pumpkins throughout Wisconsin and Minnesota. He says he's planning on selling about 4,000 to 5,000 pumpkins this year.
All right, thank you, Pauline. Another tip to keep your pumpkins healthy longer: hold off on carving them. Pumpkins are only good for about 5 to 10 days once you carve them.